This is going to the video that I mentioned on a previous one where I reviewed the 50 1.2 Canon against the 28 to 70 2.0 Canon, both RF lenses. At the end of that video, I had mentioned that I was going to do a side-by-side comparison of an image taken both at the 50 focal length and at their wide open aperture. So the 50 being at 1.2 and the 28 to 70 at 50 millimeters at 2.0, which is the lowest aperture that it has. So let's dive in and look at the example. So these are the two photos that I took here. We're gonna actually, if we can, we'll do a comparison side by side. We have the side by side comparison of the two photos taken with two different lenses, both at 50. The 28 to 70 was slightly off. It wasn't exactly 50 millimeters. It was at 54 millimeters, which you see here. However, it was hard to get exact because you look at the range on the dial, and it might say that it's at 50, but it's slightly off. Either way, it's as close as I could get it here. And we look at them both wide open. So the 28 to 70 at 2.0, that's the lowest that lens goes. And the 50 RF 1.2 at 1.2, that's as low as that goes. Right away, I notice the difference to a trained eye, especially when you're looking at them side by side. Right away, the first thing that I notice is the fall off and the bokeh. So here we're looking at our subjects, right? If you look at the 28 to 70 compared to the 50, right? The 1.2 and the 2.0. The background does fall off a lot faster, meaning it does become blurrier a lot faster in the 51.2 at 1.2 than at 2.0. So if you look at the bush in the distance here, it's a lot softer on the edges, a lot less definition, a lot creamier, which does make your subject stand out than if you're looking at it on this side at 2.0. There's a little more definition to the greenery in the background. However, it's not a lot. It's still out of focus and your subject's still popping, right? It just has more of a blurriness, more of an enhanced bokeh to it. If we look down below at the immediate effect, so the depth of field, obviously at 1.2, the depth of field is going to be a lot narrower. So when we look at here, let's say this rock on the 1.2, it is right away, it's already a lot blurrier than on the 2.0. where it still has a little bit of sharpness. As you get closer, you see some of these rocks are starting already to be out of focus, where these are still a little sharp. Now, keep in mind, I was pretty far away from my subject here, is about 15 feet away from them. The further you are from your subject, the more forgiving that low aperture will be. Whereas if you're really up close, it's going to be a lot more noticeable. So here, their nose and eyes are going to be in focus, whereas if I was right up on them, 2 feet away from them, their eye might be in focus, but their nose will not be at 1.2. So it's a lot less forgiving when you're up close. Looking at them side by side, I definitely would say that there is a difference in between the 1.2 to the 2.0, which I already knew that was going to be the case. I knew that at 1.2, that background is going to be way creamier, way softer, and it has more of that blurriness that people like, that bokeh feel that people like. That's why sometimes I'll still bring it up for detail photos. Now, is it enough of a difference that your client will notice? Probably an untrained eye, no. If you put them side by side, they might look at it and be like, maybe that's a little blurrier, right? But realistically, your clients will not see that difference. So is it a big difference to the point where it'll deter you from buying that 28 to 70 2.0 lens? Is it going to be enough of a difference that will keep you from not having a greater range of focal lengths? Going from 28 to 70, you have way more of an option without having to switch lenses, as opposed to having the 50 millimeter prime lens, and then you have to put on a 28 or a 24 or a 35 or an 85 or whatever you want to get those other shots. I think personally, if you're going to be doing weddings, I don't think that it's a deal breaker for me. It used to be in my mind, I used to think, but seeing it side by side and using the 28 to 70 and seeing the versatility that lens provides you and how you are able to capture a lot of moments without wasting time being ready for it, I think that it wouldn't be a deal breaker for me, or I mean, it wasn't because I went ahead and now I shoot with a 28-70 always. So it wasn't a big deal for me once I actually got my hands on that 28-70 and I tried it. I think that the give and take, so what I get from that 28-70, the ability to capture photos in a moment where it might have gone missed in the time that it took me to switch bodies just to grab that other body that's hanging on my side that had that wider lens and go from the 50 to a 24. In that time that it took me to switch, now with that 28-70, all I had to do is zoom out, boom, and I don't miss that moment, specifically when people are walking towards you or you're in tight spaces or you're in a tight timeline. The diversity and variety that you can capture is huge. So I think, yes, I'm never gonna lie and pretend like there isn't a difference, because there is a difference in between that fall off on the 1.2 to the 2.0. You can see it right here. It's very clear. You see it right around them. I mean, it's very clear to me, plain sight, especially when zoomed in here. But is it going to be big enough of a difference? I mean, look at that, right? Is it going to be big enough a difference that it'll deter me from using it at weddings because it's not a soft of background? Personally, it's not a deal breaker. However, I will say, if I do have the time to take a few with my 50, I will. So sometimes if I know I'm not going to need my long lens, my 135 during portraits, like in this case, I brought out the 20-70 body and the 51 in the other, and I took some photos with both of them. And sometimes it's nice to get a break from that heavy lens. If you have that 50 already, then might as well have it in your bag and use it. I still bring it out during detail photos, reception table decor. I still bring it out for that portion of the day to get some nice detail shots, really isolating an object at 1.2 and letting everything before and after fall off into soft focus. So I still bring it. However, I will say that 85% to 90% of the time, I will be using the 28-70 for convenience, and I could shoot an entire wedding day with that lens and have a ton of variety and diversity. So I recommend it. I think as wedding photographers, it's a perfect lens. If you're doing more portraiture, you have time, you're not in tight timelines, or you have more creative work or personal work, I think that 1.2 is unbeatable. The 51.2, I think it's still to this day the best lens. When everybody asks me what's the first lens I should buy, 1.2, I think you can never go wrong. That lens is just incredible. But for what we do, weddings, I think that 28-70 is an amazing all-around lens, super versatile, still has a beautiful, beautiful look to it. I will never, ever, ever not use this because it's not soft enough. This is perfect. It's going to get delivered to the client. They're going to love it. They won't know the difference. I hope that the side-by-side comparison was helpful. Honestly, I know that I'm obsessed with my 28-70. I'm gonna keep using that thing. And as I stated, I own the 51.2 already. So if I have space in my bag on that wedding day, I will probably bring it. And if something comes up that I wanna shoot with it and I have time to bring it out and do it, I will. But I will not go out of my way to bring it out and use it, because as I said, your clients most likely will not know the difference unless they mention that they're photographers themselves. Then maybe you make a little more of an effort to bring those things out. But otherwise, I think that what you get in versatility, the moments that you don't miss switching body to body to get a different, or even switching lens if you only have one body and you have to physically switch the lens, the time that you save in not having to do that and just simply zooming out or zooming in and taking photos is priceless, especially in weddings. If you are on the fence, I say take the leap. You can't go wrong. I hope that this was helpful, and we'll see you on the next one.